Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. This evening we're going to discuss some more about the initiations that sadhus take. And here's a question from Shivani from Vermont. Namaste, Shivani Ma. I'm wondering how these initiations take place. Can initiations take place on the inside, or will the initiations always take place externally with a physical guru? Do you know, Shivani, when Ramakrishna left his body, Vivekananda took a stack of Gerua cloths and put them on the altar in front of Ramakrishna's picture. And he did the puja, and he made the offering. He turned around and said, okay, I'm giving sannyas through the order of Ramakrishna. And because Ramakrishna's guru was Totapuri, we are going to be of the Puri Sampradaya. Now, Shree took initiation from Ramakrishna. But for you and for me and for many others like us, for you and for me and for many others like us, we'll want to take initiation from a guru. Now, there may be certain parts of our process that we get intuitive understanding. But generally, these 16 initiations which we have been discussing have been come from a lineage and a tradition and a custom and a heritage. And when you take a mantra, you learn the Vinyoga, and you learn the rishi of the mantra, and you learn the chando, the rhythm of the mantra, and you learn the deity, the devata of the mantra, and you learn the application of the mantra.
If you'd like to make a call,
and so these are the various initiations that we will take, and we'll take them from a physical individual. It will be best and most prudent for us to have the understanding, the intellectually and spiritually, the authority by which we can take these initiations from a real person. Ravi from North Carolina. Namaste, Ravi. Namaste, Tejaswini. Is it possible to get initiation in a dream? It's possible. But that's not the same transference of energy that we get from having a real relationship. We will want to have that relationship, and we will want to have a physical, a real relationship with a guru. Someone I can ask questions to. Someone I can at least email and say, how do I do this? What does this mean? So Ravi, it is possible to get initiation in a dream, but that's only one portion of where we want to go. I mean, we've got goals for this knowledge. There's a path that we want to follow for this knowledge. We want to achieve Dharma, our highest ideal of perfection, Artha, the physical resources necessary to maintain that ideal, Kama, the cessation, deliverance from, fulfillment, from all other desires, so that nothing is pulling us back and saying, oh, you got some unfinished business you have to attend to. And when we do that, we get moksha. And now we've got a plan, we've got an organization, we've got a roadmap, how we want to live our lives, and where do we want to be, what's the end game look like? Where do we want to be when this is all complete? We just don't want to take a bunch of mantras and say, okay, I'm taking initiation for the sake of collecting initiations. And I have seen many, especially pseudo-seekers that go around from guru to guru and collect initiations, and then they are able to take all these initiations and do what? They don't fit into a plan. You got to have a plan. A whole plan for life. A plan for your sadhana, a plan for the economics, a plan for your relationships, a plan for your families, a plan that says, where do we want to go? How are we proposing to get there? And now let's take initiation according to the Kram, Jatavidi, according to the order, the organization, the step by step. Where do I need to go? What knowledge do I need? What inspiration do I need? What spiritual power do I need in order to make that journey? And these will be the criteria through which we're going to approach a guru and ask what is the criteria, what does it look like when somebody is ready to receive initiation? What does it look like? What do I have to do to make myself capable of receiving the initiation that you want to give? And through that process of preparation, we will be able to make ourselves into shisha. Remember, shisha means a mirror. When you look in the mirror, you see the reflection of the Baba, the attitude of the Guru. So the objective, Ravi, Tejas, we want to make ourselves into a reflection of the pure qualities which the Guru exhibits. So it's possible to get initiated in a dream, but it doesn't necessarily fit into the scope of where you want to go, how you want to get there, what the plan is. So you want initiation with a purpose. Don't just collect initiations. I often get emails, I've seen this guru, I'm a disciple of this guru, I took a mantra from that guru, I took initiation from that guru, and I'm learning with that guru, and what do you want from me? That's my response, is what do you want from me? You got so many gurus already. Your cup is full, you got to empty the cup so we can pour something in there. It's not a status symbol to collect initiations. We're looking for this path that takes us to the fulfillment of our goal, which is to become a holistic spiritual being. Nanda, which of these initiations are taken after sannyas and which can be taken at other stages of life, like brahmachari, grahastham, vanaprastha? Well, you can obviously say to become a Swami, become a Sant, become a Mandaleshwar, become a Mahamandaleshwar. These are all ecclesiastical titles. These are all denominations of organized religion. As someone moves through the ranks of being a teacher, and then a teacher of teachers, and then running an ashram, then running a series of ashrams, and then running a world body of Hinduism, all the way up to becoming a Shankaracharya. These are all different kinds of after post-sannyas initiations. Usha, namaste, Usha, namaste. In these 16 initiations, where exactly does the one initiation into sannyas fit in? Way down the list, Usha. It's never too late to take initiation as a sannyas. The difficulty lies when we take it too soon. You don't want to vow to renounce the world and then renounce your renunciation. That won't be in anyone's best interest. So the vow to become a sannyasi comes after the fact that I am a sannyasi. The fact of sannyas is ever so much more important than the ceremony of sannyas. And I believe very, very truly in my heart, the fact of marriage is ever so much more powerful than the ceremony of marriage. The feeling of union, the feeling of communion, the feeling of working together, partnership, is ever so much more important than the agreement or the contract of partnership. In the same way, the fact of sannyas is so much more important than the ceremony of sannyas. You take initiation in your heart when you know that you're ready to become a sannyasi. And then you approach your guru and say, is this true? And what are the rules? And what do I have to do? And how does it work? And how do I go to all of my family members and say, do you know what? I am thinking about leading a life of renunciation, which means I'm extricating myself from worldly interaction, from worldly affairs. Is there anything left undone for me so that that would preclude my going off to become renounced in my own way? That means I probably won't come to the Christmas Eve dinner, or I might not show up at whatever family function there is. I might not come to the Sunday afternoon football games. Do you mind? Do I have your permission? And when we get that permission and we've got all the debts of karma paid, and no one says, hey, there's stuff I want you to do before you go off. When we get to that point, then the fact of sannyas is a reality for ourselves. Now we're capable of going to our guru and say, Guruji, I believe that I'm capable of being a sannyasi. Would you please tell me, is it true? Am I capable? And if I am capable, what's the next step for me? How do I go about performing the ceremony which says, I accept the vow of sannyas? So, the initiation into sannyas, it comes when we're ready, Usha. Papia from Philadelphia is asking, I read that some saints such as Anandamoyima initiated themselves. Can you explain how that works? No. Sorry, Papia, I can't. I've heard lots of stories as well. I know that I have seen people who have been so in such communion with a departed guru that they were able to receive an initiation from that departed guru. But that was one amongst a number of initiations. So I don't know how if she received a vision, if she had a dream, if she meditated upon her guru and then got the initiation in this way. I doubt that she would say, okay, I bless myself with the energy, the intrinsic energy of that mantra. I doubt that, seriously, Papi. I believe that she would say, I'm taking the energy from God. I'm taking energy from God to Guru to myself. And I'm going to pursue this tradition, and I consider this to be my initiation. Here's a question from Vish. Namaste, Vish. Namaste, Bharati. If a devotee has taken initiation from a guru, what are the metaphysical relationships between the guru and the devotee? The metaphysical, well, first of all, let's talk about the physical, because there is a relationship physically. That guru represents to me my highest ideal of perfection. The way she sits, the way she does her jap, the way she does her tap, the way she does her puja, the way she conducts her life is an example to me. So physically, I want to watch and emulate in my own circumstances? Can I do my work in life with the same bhavana, with the same feeling, with the same attitude as she does her work? Now, metaphysically, the more I do that, the more I cultivate the same bhavana, the same feeling. I sit like she sits. I am saying the same mantra she's saying. I'm loving the same with the same intensity. I'm worshiping, and my bhavana, my feeling, my attitude is directed towards the source of my inspiration, which is my guru. Remember clearly, gu karas twandakaras charu karas tejas uchate. The gu means the darkness, and ru illuminates the light, and my guru is the light in my darkness, and she is the example to me how I don't have to live in darkness. It's not necessary for me to be in the darkness any longer. So now, what is that? What is that metaphysical relationship? How can you define it? I can tell you I love her. I can tell you she inspires me. I can tell you that I'm turned on, electrified by her presence. I can tell you how I feel. I mean, I can give you the physical manifestations in my physiology that change. But how can I tell you what is our bond? What does it feel like to be in love? How intense is that love? How sweet is that sugar? How sweet is the sweet to you? Each one of us will have our own modes of expression. I don't think that I can define one feeling that everyone's going to feel. Reverence, respect, joy, the privilege of being in her presence. These are all part of the feeling in our metaphysical relationship. Here's a question from Kumari from Canada. Namaste, Kumari Ma. How does one simplify one's life when one has been a householder for many years? First of all, clean out your closets. Clean out the garage, organize stuff, so you live with what you need and what you use, and you don't store up boxes of junk for years and years. Just simplify. Take the old clothes that you don't use and give them to people who could use them. Take the old stuff that you've got. Clean out your life. And then, is there a gradual way to renounce, or do you have to throw it all off suddenly? There's a great story Ramakrishna used to tell about the wife came to her husband and said, I know the neighbor's husband is trying to renounce gradually, and he's slowly giving up all his bad habits and giving up his things. And the husband turned to the wife and said, that's no way to renounce. You know how to renounce? He tore his cloth into a loincloth, tied it around his waist, picked up one towel, and walked off into the forest. That was his immediate renunciation. Now, if we're not ready for immediate renunciation, which very few of us are, because we are still in debt. We owe our 3 debts of karma to the gods to make this world a better place because of our having been here. We owe a debt to the ancestors to nourish the young people the way we want this world to become, to respect the elderly the way we will want to be respected when we're old. We owe a debt of karma to the gurus by living in accordance with their teachings and living with their wisdom. And now I want to pay off all my debts before I tear off my cloth and take one loincloth and one langoti and go off into the forest. It won't work so easily. We want to prepare ye the way of the Lord. And that means clean out the junk. Clean out the junk from inside. Clean up all the stuff that we don't need and organize, slim down, get everything ready so you can pass it off when the time is right. Is that what these 16 initiations are about? Yes, Kumari. These 16 initiations take us gradually from doing japa to doing tapa to having an asan to having a mala, and slowly we get deeper and deeper until we're hooked. And then we're ready, because this way of life becomes the most important thing that we're doing. This commitment of our sadhana becomes the most important commitment, and now we organize all the other commitments around this commitment. Like the first thing I got to do in the morning is sing the chandi, or do the puja, or in other ways I have to organize my life so I can spend the maximum amount of time available in spiritual communion. So that's the objective, and once we know the objective, we figure out the path, we take the steps by step, and according to the tradition, according to the heritage, according to the instructions of our gurus. Here's a question from Dan. Namaste, Dan. It seems that you have given us many of these initiations freely. So many are in your books. How do we understand the connection between what you're talking about as formal initiations and what we have already received through all your videos and books? Is what you're talking about different, the same, or a little of both? Dan, there will come a time when you've been studying and practicing, and then you sit down with Shree Ma, and she's going to look you in the eye and say that mantra in your ear, and maybe seal it with a kiss, or blow in your ear and give you the energy, and suddenly it's going to wake up and take on a whole new level of meaning. There's going to come a time when, after you've been practicing and studying and doing all this stuff for some time, and you understand it intellectually, you got it here, it's the habit of your life, it's the means of your life, you're going to come to the Devi Mandir and you're going to submerge yourself in the atmosphere that she has created here, which inspires people from the moment they step through the gate. And then you'll understand a whole new level of intensity, which brings out the nuances of your intellectual knowledge. It's got bhava. It means something. It's got feeling. You got heart. It's got intensity. You're into it with sincerity. And that's the initiation you get, an intuitive cognition of what all this intellectual stuff is about, what the practice has been about. The initiation is another level. So that when you're reading a book, you're not just reading words that some other person said. They're feelings that you have, and it's the expression of your own inner being. It's your own self that's speaking, Dan. So the initiation will take it to the next level. And it will. I mean, you just fall in love. Now, I've seen other initiations, many initiations. I've seen gurus that initiated 500 or 1,000 people in a night, and I've seen gurus that give out a card with your mantra on it, and you file past, and I've seen you pay $50 or $500 or whatever it is, and you get an initiation. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the confirmation of a love affair. You fall in love, and then you decide to get married because you've got the right mix of compatible criteria. And now you get married, and you've got your goals, and you've got your partnership understanding, and you know you're going to work together to reach your ultimate objectives. In the same way, you come into the Bhava zone of the Guru, and you've been studying her material, you've been studying her mantras, you've been studying her methods, you've been studying her sitting. How do you sit? How do you breathe? How do you chant? How do you speak? What does it mean? And then you see the love, the sincerity, the bhavana, the feeling, the attitude with a capital A, and suddenly it means something more. So it's a little of both, Dan. Here's a question from Rami Mami in Bangalore. Namaste, Rami. Namaste, Srini Baba. If we learn to do puja from your books and videos, can we consider you as our guru for puja? If you like. You don't have to. You could just say that was a good book. But if you want to, you can say Om Guru Bhyo Namo Om Param Guru Bhyo Namo Om Para Para Guru Bhyo Namo Om Parameshti Guru Bhyo Namo, and you know that I'm sitting right beside you. Every time you do the puja, I am sitting there. And if you feel that and you want me to sit there, it's your invitation, it's your avahom. I won't impose that. I'm so happy that you read the book, that you watched the video. But if you want to place me there too, and you want to place Ma there too, then we'll be there with you. And we will become the light in your darkness. We will communicate the bhava. We will communicate the feeling. We will communicate the intensity of our reality, the intensity of our commitment. That's our offering. And you can incorporate that intensity into your offering. So it is, you can consider. There is no doubt. But it's your choice. I wouldn't expect that. But I'm very pleased if you do. Will you please accept our unlimited gratitude for all of your teachings? Namaste. Namaste. I love you all very, very much. And you please accept my gratitude for the privilege for me to share. Satyananda from Barbados. Namaste, Kalima. Swamiji, please explain what is the Guru Mantra and the significance of the mantra. How should such a mantra be used? You'll get that from your Guru. When the Guru gives you the initiation, she will give you the mantra. And probably that whatever mantra she gave you is your Guru Mantra. The Guru gave you the mantra. So that's how it's used. Now, in the case of you, you know your Guru Mantra because we gave it to you. And you're using it. And you're using it regularly. And you learn the Rishi, and you learn the Chanda, and you learn the Devata, and you learn the Bini Yoga. And you learned how to use it. You felt how to use it. You got the Baba how to use it. And you are using it. How should a mantra be used? Mantra actually comes from the etymology mantrayate, that which takes away the mind. Mantra should be used to blow your mind. Just lose your mind and you will know how to use the mantra. That if that's the objective, then you want to focus clearly, objectively focus to the extent of your capacity. You want to focus so that to the exclusion of all delusion. To the point of total absorption, and took away all the thoughts. All the mind is gone. Please explain the mechanics of the Guru's ability to help the devotee evolve? Well, she's a mechanic, and she fixes things for us. So that's how she mechanically changes our lives. First of all, we see an example. Then we get an inspiration. Pratamam Shailaputri cha, Dvitiyam Brahmacharini, Tritiyam Chandraganteti Kushmandeti Chaturtikam. These 9 Durgas are the mechanics of how the Guru works. She takes the inspiration, we start learning. We start learning, we cultivate the practice. We cultivate the practice, we refine the cultivation. Panchamang Shkandamateti Shashtam Katyayaniti cha Saptamam Kalaratriti Mahagoriti Chashtamam. And then we cultivate, we nurture the divinity. We become ever pure, free from mistake, ever coldly focused. We know what we're doing. We got it. It's sharp. Then we give up the ego. We give up the darknesses of duality. We become one with the great radiant light. Navamang Siddhidatri Cha, Navadurga Prakirtita. If you want a mechanic, these 9 girls, these are the 9 forms of my Guru. She takes us from the inspiration to the cultivation of knowledge, to the beginning of practice, to the refinement of practice, to becoming good at it. And once we become good at it, we're free from mistake. We don't make mistakes. We become ever pure, completely clear. I know my stuff. I give up the darkness of egotism. I become one with the great radiant light. And the 9th is the grantor of perfection. And that's how she mechanically helps devotees to evolve. When a devotee has begun a relationship with a guru, what is the devotee's responsibility towards the guru? Do you know the responsibility and the privilege are one? It is the privilege of the devotee to take as much of the responsibility from the guru that we possibly can. Because when the guru is freed from the responsibility of acting and interacting in this physical world, we devotees get to see what would an enlightened being do if they were free from the responsibilities of worldliness. Would you go to the 19th hole and sit down? I want to retire on the golf course. I want to retire in Tahiti. I want to go to the Taj Mahal. I mean, just look at what the guru wants to do, or what she calls retirement. If she made her fortune and she didn't have to worry about life in the physical world, what would she do? I'll bet you she would sit there and move her beads. She would do japa. I'll bet she would chant the Chandi Path every day. I'll bet she would worship Shiva every day, 4 or 5 times a day. I'll bet you she would cook for everyone who comes. I'll bet you she would give cloth. She'd remember everybody's significant day and their size and their color and what they want to eat and how much salt they like in their food. And look at what the guru does. When she's relieved from her practical responsibilities in the world, what would she do? And the more we avail that privilege, the more we avail that opportunity, the greater is our insight into what constitutes enlightenment. What it means to give up our selfishness to become a servant of God. To become a servant of God's creation. To become in love with God. And just thinking about godliness all the time. I'm always amazed at how many devotees come to the ashram and sit in the kitchen and talk about enlightenment. It boggles my imagination that there's so much to talk about enlightenment when they have the opportunity to sit in the temple and do what the guru does. So when What's the devotee's responsibility? Free yourself from debt. Do what the guru does. Live in accordance with the teaching she's demonstrating. Make yourself into a disciple, into a shisha, into someone who is reflecting the attitudes of the guru completely. If I meet someone who is interested in learning about Dharma, what main points should they understand? They should understand and define for themselves what is their criteria for reaching the ideals of perfection. How would you define perfection? How would you define a well-lived life, lived according to the highest ideals that one could live their life? This is the Dharma that we are pursuing. This is our understanding and our definition of this Dharma. Dharma is the Shreshth Adarsh. It is the highest ideal of perfection. What is your highest ideal of perfection? And once you tell me that ideal, make it better. Once you have the limits of the consciousness of infinite goodness, and you can't think of anything even as good as this consciousness which is filled with goodness, now make it better. Because Satyananda has no limit. You can always make it better. So when you want to share Dharma, and you want to make someone else understand the highest, the main points of Dharma, then ask them what is their highest ideal. And what is the greatest perfection they could achieve while wearing a human body? And then make it better. How can one strengthen their relationship with their guru? By following the example. What do gurus need? Gurus aren't looking to get something from their disciples. Gurus are looking to give something to their disciples. So if you want to strengthen that relationship with your guru, take the example, take the teaching, take the practice, take it all and embody it and imbibe it and cultivate it and put it into your life and become it. That's how you strengthen the relationship. Is it important to have a direct relationship? Absolutely. Many of us live far away and cannot come to the mandir and take initiation. You can't take initiation. You can't. You have to be ready for it. You have to become a fertile field. You can't come to take initiation. When it's right, when it's appropriate, then we'll come to you.
Exactly.
We will come to you. I have no hesitation. Oh, we've got a car. We'll drive wherever you are. We'll come to you when you're ready. But please, don't sit home and say, oh, I'm so far from the mandir, poor me. I can't do any of these practices because I haven't taken initiation. Bah, humbug. You have to be the disciple, and then the guru will come. You have to want to reflect the attitudes of the guru, and then she'll come.
Match and stick.
Like a match and a stick. I think it's a match in a box. A matchstick and a box. When they come into contact with each other, there's ignition. How can we gain maximum from the guru? Well, we're talking about how do we gain maximum from the guru. Here's another question from Dan. What is the mala with black seeds that is associated with Shiva, often seen on his trishul? Dan, it's usually lotus seeds. It's usually lotus seeds. What are the seeds made of? the lotus. And what is the significance, Dan? The lotus stands for peace, and we're cultivating peace, and we're planting peace. Here's a question from Kumari Ma from Canada. Namaste, Kumari Ma. Is Sphatik along with Rudraksha a good combination in a japa mala? No. No. Sphatik actually is a Vaishnava tradition. Ram uses Sphatik. You can also use Sphatik for Tulsi. You can use Sphatik for Radha. As a balance between Shiva and Shakti. No, you don't need to don't look at the outside things. Look at the inside things. I know a lot of Raj gurus wear Sphatik and Rudraksha and gold, and they put them on a gold chain with gold caps on the Rudraksha, and wow, you got to dress up your renunciation. It's not about the stuff outside. You don't want to show it to other people. I want to show them my inside. I'm sorry, this is all the jewelry I can afford. It's all the jewelry that I pay attention to. I have a Rudraksha mala and I have a string around my wrist. And I don't wear any rings, I don't need any stones, I don't need any external amulets or anything else, a kavach or a tagach or anything else to adorn or decorate or remind me or preserve me or protect me from the evil influences of other planets or other vibrations. It's not about the outside for me, it's about what I got inside. So I don't believe you need to wear any fancy mala, and I only wear a mala because it's the nicest place to keep it handy for me to do japa whenever I can. And it reminds me, and it's always there, so that in the middle of my pot, if it's time, I just take off my mala and there I'm ready to go. And when I complete the japa, I just put it back on again and I'm ready for the next time. So the mala is not an ornament. The mala is a tool. Mangmale, Mahamaye, Sarva Shakti, Swarupini. You have all the energy within you as your intrinsic nature. Chatur Bhargasid, you can achieve the four aspirations of manifested existence, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Chatur Bhargas Tvayitas Tasman Me Siddhidavama. And therefore I'm requesting you to give me the attainment of perfection. For this reason, I'm holding you in my right hand, I'm holding you in my heart, I'm holding you, I'm wearing you around my neck so that you can give me the attainment of perfection, so that I can proceed and pursue my goal of achieving that highest ideal of perfection. I'm not wanting to be recognized because I have such an adornment. The mala I was given is made of very small Rudraksha seeds, and the thread has worn out some time ago. I cannot figure out how to restring it. The holes are too small. Do you have advice for me? Send it to me, Usha. We'll get it strung for you. I'm using another one now, but would love to restore it. You can restore it. There's a very thin silver wire that you can use. It probably, if necessary, you can re-drill the holes. You can restring your mala. I have mine restrung every 3 or 4 years. I usually wear out the wires because of the japa that we do. And if you have another one, do you know what is also very good is that dental floss is very strong and it doesn't break readily. So you can use that. That's a fine way to restring your mala. What yantra would Thakur Ma or Shree Ma sit on? Asan yantra is the bindu surrounded by an equilateral triangle, and that's the asan yantra. So you put it under your asan every time you sit down. Everyone who sits down sits on the yantra. Kumari Ma, when I meditate on Ma, should I meditate on her as mother? And when I meditate on Shiva, should it be I am Shiva? Is that the bhava to have? Do you know there are 5 attitudes with which you can meditate on any individual? There's Santan Bhav, I'm a child of God, she's my mother, he's my father. There's a parental bhav. There's I am the father of God, like Balakrishna or Gopal. You are Yashoda. You are the mother of God. Then there's a bhakta bhav. I am the devotee of God. I do everything I do. I touch with the name of God, like Hanuman. Everything he did was for God, by God, with God. And then there's Premika Bhav. I am the lover of God, like Radha and Krishna or Sita and Ram. And then there's the Bir Bhav. I am Shiva. I am God. And it's said that it's very easy to fall from the Bir Bhav. Be humble. Be small. Be content with being a servant, and be content with being a devotee, and be content with being a lover, and then she will elevate you herself. She will take you from that position of servitude into the union with her, into her embrace, and say, no, you're not just my servant, you're mine, you're me. I don't recommend that you sit down saying, I am the great yogi, I am Shiva. I am Shiva. It's too easy to fall from being Shiva. Who gives the initiations for Sant, Mahant, and Mandaleshwar? Is Mandaleshwar defined by administrative duties? Do these reflect inner spiritual light? They do not necessarily reflect inner spiritual light. Rami, Mami, you were with us. We met so many, we met some Mandaleshwars and Mahamandaleshwars who were so busy with their telephones that they couldn't even accept our puja. So they were so busy with their worldliness that they couldn't accept. So it doesn't really demonstrate spiritual attainment. It did in the olden days, and not so old. I know 40 years ago, Mandaleshwar was a title of greatest respect for someone who had spiritual attainment. Today, it's more of a custom, a tradition, an honor to give to a wealthy man, an ashram administrator. So it does not necessarily today, as it's used, it does not reflect spiritual light. Swami, are you saying that as we ask the right question and you explain it, and we have love in our heart to know and go deeper, and you explain it, that is the initiation? Not quite. It's part of it. It's a first step. It's a kind of initiation. But do you know what's going to happen when we sit and look at each other and feel the bhav? Can I help you?
Congratulations. This is Michael with W.
Jai Ma. Thanks, Michael. No, we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then there's going to be a transference of energy as we sit together. Will the initiations always be what the guru practices, or does the guru help bring out different niches of each of their shishas? For example, we will all become chandi chanting cosmic pujaris, or does everyone perfect a different aspect of their guru's bhava? If you want to take one aspect, you're certainly welcome. And if you want to take the whole thing, Dan, I've written books for every deity in Hinduism. You could become the pujari of any one of them you wanted to, or you could learn the theory of puja and learn all the pujas, and then go into any temple wherever you want, wherever you may be, and be free. Be free to commune, to become Savarni, the seeker of the Chandi who became the light of wisdom, the manifestation of reason, the manifestation of wisdom for 100 kalpas of time. You can become he who belongs to all colors, tribes, caste, every religion, every flavor. He's with Vaishnavas, he's with Shaktas, he's with Shaivats, he's with Ganapats. He is free. He's not bound. His religion and his religious experience doesn't define him. It doesn't create barriers for him, or it doesn't create barriers or limitations. It's the objective of being totally at home wherever you go, to share your love of God with everybody in every religion and every language and every capacity that you have. It's all about loving God. But if you want to become a Chandi chanting pujari and do the cosmic puja, that's a wonderful place to start. Can you tell? No. Should the kavach of the Chandi be chanted every day? It's not part of your Sunday or early morning version. Do you know what? I used to do it, of course, every day, and now I do not, because I have constraints of time. I've become more of an administrator myself. But it says in the kavach, it says for his own good, or her own good, a person should not take one step without putting on this kavach, without putting on this suit of armor. And if she does, or he does, wherever he goes, he will accomplish his objective. Now, one reason that I don't chant the kavach every day is because I stay in the ashram, which is a bigger kavach for me. But when I go outside and sit behind the wheel of the car, I chant the kavach. As I drive down the road to get to any place we're going, I do recite the Devi kavach. And you're right, we have omitted it from our daily practice for time constraints. We're doing a Siddha Pat, which means the Ratri Shukta, and then the Nivarna Bidi, and the 700 verses. And the Devi Shukta, and the Siddha Kunjika Stotram, and the Pranam. And this is a Siddha Pat, 700 verses. So it is not the Sharanga Chandi. It says also in the Siddha Kunjika Stotram, na kavacham, na orgala stotram, na kilikam, na rahashikam, na suktam dhyanam nyasam cha, na varcham cha chabarti cha. Anyway, it says that it's not any one of these things. If you've got God in your heart and you remember the mantra, you've got the Mool mantra, you'll be with her all the time, and she'll be with you. You mentioned the 6 stages of sannyas. Does every sadhu go in order? Yes. Yeah. You're going to become kutirchak. You have to learn something, then you become bakudak. You know what questions to ask. Then you become a hamsa, you start to discriminate. And then you become paramahamsa, and then you achieve supreme discrimination. And then you become turiyatit, you go beyond. And then you become abdut. Whether you're sitting in samadhi or you're working in the world, you're in the same bhav, in the same flavor. You're at a home wherever you go. Who determines what category one is in? You do. You determine where you're at. It's time for me to sit down and read a book. Kutirchak. It's time for me to go outside and ask questions. Bahuda. It's time for me to think about the answers I received and to integrate all the information and everything I've seen. You become Hamsa. And how does one become ready for the next step? You know. You get itchy feet. It's time to go outside. Or time to sit down and be still. Don't most sannyasis share many of these characteristics as it is not cut and dry line? Yes. But usually if you're going to sit home and study, you know when it's time to sit home and study. And if you're going to go out and meet people, then you know when it's time to, they're a little bit different. Are these formal initiations or do these stages arise spontaneously? Spontaneously. Yeah, it just arises of its own accord. Can you give advice on how we can truly feel and grok each padoti? Yes. You start with bits and pieces. Learn the vidis. Learn each vidi and read the Sanskrit and read the translation and then think about it. What is it I'm doing here? What am I saying? Who am I talking to by saying this? What is the meaning of this? How do you use this knowledge? In what way will this be beneficial to me? And then, when you got the Vidi down, go to the next Vidi. And as you read through the book once, you'll find many Vidis call you, bookmark them. And learn the ones that feel good to you. And make that a puja, padoti, and memorize them. So that when I look at the deity in the eye and say, I love you, it's a lot different feeling than saying, it says here that I love you. I want to feel it from the heart. Say it from the heart. Know what I'm saying. And that's how you can grok, how you can feel, how you can be one with each padoti. When we make a sankalpa that is a big challenge, would it be best to do less and slow down? There's a time for each. There's a time to take a big sankalpa and do a lot quickly, and there's a time to take a small sankalpa and slow it down and do less slowly. You'll understand. Does the grokking happen more and more through repetition as we memorize it? Yeah, it's a lot easier to look you in the eye and tell you I love you with sincerity than it is to read somebody else's book that says I'm supposed to say I love you now. How do you feel? When I can look at you and say I love you, then you feel different than when I read it to you. So if it comes from the heart, that's really where we want it to be. We want it to be my words, not just the words of the rishis of the past, but the words of the rishis of the present. Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you.